Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
am I live?
Yeah. I think we are uh streaming health.
So,
Just a
I
second,
think,
Dada. Just a second.
people. Sure,
YouTube
sure.
is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. So just give us one more second. Let the video
Sure, no
health keep
problem.
it. Yeah.
Has it stopped streaming? And I'm not sure why it ended also automatically.
I think it's now live. Naman, it's on a new link.
One second.
Hello.
So,
It's
you.
live.
I think people can hear Nikhil. People can hear.
Can people hear?
There's no one here.
Yeah.
People are coming here. Like, I'll just send this link again for Tanya to send it to everyone.
Hmm.
So कुछ लोग बहुत मस्ती कर रहे हैं. I see that. Chat. I saw the chat.
Yeah. Can't do much
Yeah, I
about it.
think there's an option of kicking them out also.
No, we have no.
We'll
It's okay.
we'll
No, no,
make
no, no,
sure.
don't.
It's okay.
Naman, you don't have to do that. Don't
We
have to
have.
do that.
Yeah. It's absolutely
I'm,
fine.
I just saw that there's a fun element to all of that. I mean, it's all right. Don't worry about it. So I think I will also not make it very formal. अभी तक मैं अंग्रेजी में बोला तो थोड़ी मैं हिंदी भी बात करूँगा. Okay?
Yes. I think we are here now. I'm so sorry, guys. As you know, it is an internet issue and we can't really do much about it. I'm really sorry, though. We'll keep that in mind from next time we go for it. So, the idea is that, as you can see now, we are again live. We are here. So, Arjun's question, I don't know till when could we hear it, till when was this, when did the stream end, but I think MBA versus undergrad was the point that we were discussing. We'll also bring up the questions from the previous.
Yeah. Right. So I'll start answering this question that Arjun asked. What skills? So why सबको पहले तो ये देखना चाहिए. So I'll speak a bit of Hindi. Yeah.
Yeah.
So सबको पहले ये देखना चाहिए that there is a certain difference. Why this perception exists because of the coursework, because of the orientation people get at MBA schools. So if the undergrad kids, if all of you can actually articulate to yourself that these are the areas that are emphasized on when people are in their MBAs, and if you can work on those areas, you can bridge the gap, right? So, for example, let me give you a few examples. Pehli wali cheez. Can you work on Excel? If you can, master Excel to some degree, you will score well when it comes to engaging versus the engagement that an MBA will get, right? So that's one skill. Second skill, if you can visualize data, right? Either through presentation, if you can learn PPT, the Microsoft PowerPoint, or any other, way of making presentation. If you can build the skill of visualizing data. That's a tremendous skill because आज के ज़माने में क्या होता है हर जगह you need this skill. Because presentations are being made and presentation is essentially representing data. There's a lot of data everywhere, right? Any industry you go to, you have to play with data. So if you can acquire that skill, great. The third and the most important thing in all these things I'm talking about is softer skills. एक चीज़ बताता हूँ सबके लिए very very simple. See, a lot of people start, चाहे undergrad हो or MBA हो, you start with based on your technical skills and some level of softer skills, but the pace of your growth is directly proportional to the level of your interpersonal and software skills. Believe me that.
Yes.
Okay. A lot of engineers think that, oh, you know what, I don't really need to have all these skills, or they look down upon many a times because they are intellectually, or what do you call, technically superior. See, technical superiority is one thing. We should aspire to achieve it, but at the same time, it should not come at the cost of anything else. These two things are mutually exclusive: technical skills and other interpersonal software skills. मैं बता रहा हूँ, in the longer run, and this longer run starts with only after a few years, where once you join, your interpersonal skills start to matter so much more. Because remember, wherever you are, you're not working in isolation, you're working with people. And if you can be a leader, if you can be someone who can ideate, if you can be someone who can work very closely and very well with teams, these things matter a lot. So when you are an undergrad, if you can work on these aspects and you can actually exhibit these things, you will bridge that gap versus any other MBA. Okay?
Right.
Is that? I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, so the next question also you answered in the meanwhile, which is what are the skills required? So I've jotted it down. There are tools, Excels, any sort of tool that is required in your profession, data visualization techniques or tools, and third, interpersonal soft skills coupled with a bit of technical soundness. So
Yeah.
this is, I think,
I think
yeah,
Nikhil, इस list में लोगों को जितने लोग सुन रहे हैं, they should all keep the software skills and interpersonal skills on top.
absolutely.
Again, when I say that, I'm not saying that you don't need to build the other skills. It's like becoming a complete product. आजकल के ज़माने में, let me draw this analogy. ये बहुत important analogy. आजकल के ज़माने, when you go to when you go to supermarket, what do you buy off the shelf? You want a good product, right?
Right.
But you want a good product. But the thing is, we are the victim of our subconscious mind. ये लोग समझो सब लोग. हम अपने subconscious mind के victim होते हैं. हमें पता नहीं होता subconscious mind क्या कर रहा है. But the subconscious mind is affected by all these things, which is how things look, how things feel. In the first 30 seconds, we actually make our decision. हमको पता भी नहीं चलता है. You understand? Which is why your packaging, and your packaging comes in the form of all these software skills, the gamut of software skills. Those are a non-negotiable. सबसे important है. So, and these are mutually exclusive. Technical skills अपनी जगह है, उनकी value अपनी जगह है, और वो भी बहुत जरूरी है. But if you ever think that this is not going to matter, I must tell you that you are digging your own grave. सबसे पहले इस पे focus करना चाहिए. Okay?
Absolutely, it's a very good insight, and I think software skills come from, you cannot learn software skills from a book. You need to start talking to people. You need to start networking. You have a lot of social networks these days. One way, which also is a very good way of finding opportunity in this kind of crisis, is finding references, catching up with your seniors, talking to them, telling them about what you like to do and how can you
Correct.
contribute. So I think that's one very good insight that we can.
Let me add one more thing to that, Nikhil.
Yeah.
मुझे याद है कि मैं follow करता हूँ, और मेरे ख्याल से लोग अगर follow करेंगे तो उनके लिए आसान हो जाएगा. एक बहुत ही simple चीज होता है. You said networking, right? It's not very easy to network, by the way, हाँ.
Yeah.
कई बार ऐसा नहीं होता, you are कोई पूछे कि हाँ सर मुझे आपसे बात करनी है, सामने वाला क्यों बात करेगा?
Right.
Think about it. मतलब you perhaps are not adding much, but the thing is, the way to do that is, how you do things is very important, right? Method becomes important. Now, इसमें method क्या है? If you really want to reach out to people and actually have an active network, the thing is, if you can become someone who has a deep interest in something, it opens up new doors.
Absolutely.
समझे? So, if you are a flat personality, ऐसे तो हजारों हैं, लाखों हैं. You have to try and develop a deep interest in at least one thing. And it need not be a technical thing. It can be anything. It can be movies. It can be anything. But try and go deep in that. अगर आप, if you go deep, if you really understand some certain things, because try and, a lot of conversation that starts, अगर आप सीधे किसी टेक्निकल बातें करोगे, सर आप ये एक्सेल में ऐसे काम कैसे करते हो, आपने बहुत अच्छा काम किया, nobody's going to give you भाव, right? आपको बात करनी पड़ेगी, which will be something, it's called in a different word, it is called soft, small talk. स्मॉल टॉक होती है बेसिकली, और कैसे चल रहा है,
Hmm.
हम ऐसे बात करते हैं, राइट, व्हेन वी फ्रेंड्स मीट, और कैसे चल रहा है, अरे हाँ यार ये हो रहा है वो हो रहा है, ऑल ऑफ दिस कॉल्ड स्मॉल टॉक.
Hmm.
नए लोगों से भी थोड़ी सी स्मॉल टॉक जरूरी होती है, अदरवाइज यू कांट सीधे आप बैक मान के सर आपकी कंपनी बहुत अच्छा कर रही है, आप ये आपने तोड़ दिया, ये सब बात नहीं कर सकते ना.
Right.
People will not like that. You gotta figure out ways to do the small talk, and if you can in that moment, if you find a entry to kind of show somewhere that ये मेरा deep interest है, directly बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है, but if you can show by talking, suddenly you get a lot of attention from people because if you remember, if you know people who are somewhere in their career path, during that path they also figure this out, वो लोग भी कोई ना कहीं deep interest इकट्ठे कर रहे होते हैं, and people then people forget about the level where you are, right. कोई बहुत बड़ा मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर है, सीईओ है, और उसको यॉटिंग में मान लो उसको डाइविंग में इंटरेस्ट है, समथिंग, लेट्स से आई एम जस्ट टेकिंग एग्जांपल, उसको डाइविंग में इंटरेस्ट है, और अगर तुम पहुंच गए उसके पास, ओके, और ऑल्दो यू आर जस्ट एन अंडरग्रेड, आप थर्ड ईयर में हो, कहीं पढ़ते हो, मान लो हिंदू में पढ़ते हो या कहीं भी पढ़ते हो, लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल, आप सडनली बोला सर कहीं से बाहर निकला और आपने डाइविंग पे बात शुरू की, तो देन ही विल स्टॉप लुकिंग एट यू एज अ हिंदू कॉलेज स्टूडेंट. He will start looking at you, whoever you are, and that you have it. So basically, ये सब चीजें करने से क्या होता है, the difference होता है ना, वो गायब हो जाता है.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
People start taking you as you. They do not take you as you who is just an undergrad student. You understand?
Yeah.
Try and build things around you, which through which you can actually rub or omit that difference.
Absolutely, and I think this is very true. I mean, a common talking point becomes very important for conversations to happen. And I remember when first time I joined the previous company, in fact I talked to a lot of my bosses and seniors also, and we were in international teams, so there were different teams out there, because of common talking points, so it becomes very important. Moving
Right.
on. Yeah, so moving on, we have a question from Shivani Jalan. So she said that, okay, Shivani, I think your question is now answered. You asked that which skill is an interviewer basically wanting to look for a student in hiring. So I think it's depth of personality, profile, and an individuality. Based on what Deepak sir just said, that a person should represent something just more than a piece of paper and should not be a flat person. So I think that's and then Arjun followed up by a very nice question, Deepak sir. Journalists
Yeah.
are preferred more than specialists in today's world. Do you agree with it or not?
Well, it's, honestly, Arjun, this is a more general question. I do not subscribe to that thought, and I don't think like that. ऐसा नहीं है. I mean, look, see, honestly, when you are just an undergrad or even if you are an MBA, do first thing you should realize that actually you don't have anything that you can offer. But people know, companies know, corporates know that we can really make something great out of you. Do you understand this? Try and understand this. पहली बात ये आपको सबको समझनी है कि जब हम ग्रेजुएट हो रहे होते हैं ना, मैं भी यूजलेस था जब ग्रेजुएट हुआ.
Right.
हम सभी यूजलेस हैं. बट ये द रियलिटी इज कि हम यूजलेस हैं. पहली बात, हम सभी यूजलेस हैं एट दिस पॉइंट इन टाइम. बट वी हैव सर्टेन स्किल्स बिकॉज वी गो टू सर्टेन कॉलेजेस, वी आर समवेयर, सो वी हैव दोज इनहेरेंट स्किल्स. व्हेन वी आर इन दैट एनवायरनमेंट, वी सडनली वो एक स्विच ऑन हो जाता है. यू अंडरस्टैंड? व्हेन वी आर इन दैट एनवायरनमेंट, और बिकॉज उस एनवायरनमेंट में बहुत सारी ट्रेनिंग होती है, वहाँ पर बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं, तो उनके साथ मिलकर के हमारा स्विच ऑन हो जाता है. एंड द मोमेंट आवर स्विच इज ऑन, वी बिकम एक्सट्रीमली प्रोडक्टिव, एंड वी गो थ्रू दैट ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन वेरी क्विकली, एंड दैट ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन yields a person who can be extremely effective, and that's why people hire you. So I do not think that people think too much about a generalist or a specialist at this point in time. Yes, look, अगर आप डेटा माइनिंग एक्सपर्ट हो, right, you can do that, और कोई डेटा माइनिंग का जॉब है तो they will obviously hire you, right. They will go for it. But a lot of people, when it comes to banking, consulting, ऐसा नहीं कि they are looking for an expert as such. There are, when people go to hire from colleges, I don't think they think too much about these things, because there's no basis to imagine that a person is actually an expert in something. There's no basis.
Right.
But when people are hiring people off campuses, experienced people, that's when it becomes important. That's when, and also there are places where generalists are important. Okay, there are certain job profiles where generalist is important. There are certain job profiles where a specialist is important, a subject matter expert is important. So I think no recruiter will make that mistake of hiring a generalist in a place where
A
an expert
specialist
is
member.
needed,
Yeah.
and vice versa.
And
But
that's
when it comes to hiring from campuses, I don't think people are making that differentiation too much.
there's again a couple of more questions that we'll take. So Dishita Jain has a question that if there are two people, one has experience in one field and another person has a very diverse set of experiences in their resume, which person is most likely to be picked? I think it's case to case basis, but Deepak sir, you can take it. I think it's a similar answer which you gave. Yeah.
Look, again, CV, CV पे क्या लिखा है, it's not very easy to validate that, right? And these days, what I've seen is that every time I go, I see CVs. Every CV looks the same. Every CV looks like नीचे तक पूरा भरा हुआ होता है. And when you go deep, उसमें बहुत सारे, let me be very honest, बहुत सारे random points भी होते हैं. लेकिन लोग पता नहीं किस किस चीज के points बनाते हैं CV point. So, diverse CV versus what was the other thing she said?
uh One experienced field CV, I mean depth of one experience versus a diverse field. Yeah.
So, it is somewhat similar to the your previous question, right? But let me draw that out. Uh, Previous experience. If there's a previous experience, some people may not even want to hire some experienced people. They may just want to hire grads because their requirement is such. Some people may just want to hire experienced people. So again, it will come down to the fitment. Fitment becomes very important. You have to understand this. Fitment बहुत जरूरी होता है. अगर कोई भी recruiter आ रहा है, अगर उनको लगता है आप उसमें fit नहीं, it's nothing against you, right? But maybe you just don't fit there because of your orientation, your skills, or whatever it is. Then you won't probably get that. And it's not very easy to link it to the diverse CV or whatever what is the breadth of things that you've done.
Yeah.
It definitely comes handy. Let's say you have done things that it actually shows in your personality, and if you can exhibit those things, actually it will help. But I think it will depend case to case, depending on the recruiter as well. So it's I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not able to answer this question, perhaps what you seek of me. But it is it's not very easy to kind of slot these things. It will depend on people, on fitment, people who are hiring. I think it's like that. And I've been hiring for a long time. I definitely think there's no one way of looking at it.
There's no one formula, and I think this is something which we stress a lot in our resume training sessions too, in Perspectico.
Yeah.
That every individual is different, every resume is different, every story is different. It's how beautifully can you bring it out in an interview and on a piece of paper. So guys, if you really want to have a resume training webinar from Perspectico team, please post it in the comments in this chat, and we will definitely think about something like that. Apart from
Nikhil,
Yeah.
Nikhil, on this point, I must say this. Please do not overtly try to decorate your CV. That's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
request.
Yeah.
Honesty is very important. Authenticity is extremely important.
Yeah.
जब कोई recruiter ये देखे कि इतना कुछ लिखा है, and if there is a slightest chance, a slightest hint कि यार ये उतना genuine नहीं है ये point, then you know what happens?
That's
Totally
bad.
switch off हो जाता है. Switch off हो जाता है. I can tell you. Immediately switch off. At least मेरे साथ तो होता है. If I figure that something is not there, then I'm done. Otherwise, I've hired people by making them do 27, 20, 30 push-ups also. You know that, right?
Right, I know. I know who you're
So-
talking about also, but I will not name the person.
Yeah. So the point is authenticity is very important. Always value authenticity.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a very good point. And I think the last kind of element of discussion in this discussion can be the future. So we have talked about what has happened in the past, how to brace ourselves in the present, what to do, utilize the time. Now let's talk about the future. So Deepak sir, what do you think the future of work is going to be? What are the new, and second point, what are the new age skill sets apart from soft skills and all the skills that we have talked about, which students should focus on in order to get a brighter, chance of succeeding
Yeah.
in their professional lives? Yeah.
So look, there's a lot of discussion around artificial intelligence and robotics and so many things coming into various industries. ठीक है? मैं एक example बताता हूँ. When I was graduating from IMA, hottest job on the campus in finance was being a trader. Bond trader, equities trader, whatever, currencies trader. ठीक है? वो hottest job होता था. अब, over these many years, there are no more such jobs. Do you know that? This Gordon Gekko का नाम सबने सुना होगा, फिल्म देखी होगी.
Yeah.
Wall
Wall
Street.
Street. Yeah.
So the Gordon Gekko kind of traders are fewer to be seen. Do you know why? Because trading is now all algorithmic. Even a robot trades. You understand? Banks have far fewer traders in today's time. There are traders, but now उतने नहीं होते. So, in all the industries are going through a massive shift gradually. And, which is why it's a very important question, pertinent question to ask. In terms of what new skills people should look at, I would say, I think if people can, learn some bit of, programming, like किसी ने art सीख ली, or what is that, if, there
Java,
are
C++.
these programming languages.
Yeah.
Java or some programming language, it helps you structure your thoughts in a certain way. You can,
Logic.
logic, it builds your logical bent of mind, so many other things. And आजकल बहुत सारी libraries available होती हैं, right? So you can always build, so if you can get your hands dirty with that, that's one. Second thing is, if you can learn to deal with a lot of data, again, that can R करके R and Python, that I meant to mention Python as a language. So and there are many more languages, and if you can learn to deal with a lot of data mining or data analytics or whatever you want to call it, data scientists आजकल होते हैं, correct? So if you can get some understanding of that, so those things will really be a good value add across industries, I meant. And then see, imagine that a lot of manual work जो होता है ना, manual काम. Remember, manual work eventually will be all taken over by machines. When I say machine, is don't imagine just a man, like android kind of robot, but imagine softwares which are called robots or chatbots or whatever it is. A lot of that will be taken over in the coming years, decades completely. So you have to calibrate, you have to think, think of where you add most value. So if you read some authors who really understand how the world is transforming, most of people say that if you can be more creative in your approach, the creativity will never be taken over by machines, right? Jobs will get redefined. मैनुअल चीज़ें सारी चली जाएंगी. अगर आप किसी मैनुअल चीज़ में घुस रहे हो तो please try and change your orientation so that you get into things where you are adding value, right? When it comes to managing people, it's an art. People will always be there. When I'm just giving a raw example, okay? अगर कोई एक्टिंग करता है फिल्म में तो हम देखेंगे. अब कल को हम फिल्में में हम रोबोट देखना नहीं चाहेंगे ना. Human beings will not want to see robots, running around trees and Bollywood film. They will always want to see actors. So वो skill हमेशा रहेगी. So I was trying to give a raw example, but when it comes to jobs etc., try and see that where you highest level of value add जिन चीजों में हो उसमें वहाँ पर आप घुसने की कोशिश करें, उन skills को acquire करने की कोशिश करें. So I talk about some of those things, and wherever you need to ideation, right? अब ideation हर जगह होता है. बैंकिंग में होता है, क्रिएटिव काम है उसमें होता है, आपको एडवर्टाइजिंग में जाना है वहाँ आइडिएशन होता है. कंसल्टिंग में भी आपको आइडिएट करने की जरूरत है. अभी कंसल्टेंट की जरूरत होती है तो उसका बहुत सारे काम वहाँ भी मैनुअल और डेटा ओरिएंटेड होते हैं. दैट कैन बी आउटसोर्स्ड टू अ मशीन. But when it comes to thinking about new ideas, being creatively producing a solution, वो तो इंसान को ही करना पड़ेगा, correct?
Right.
So try and be creative. Try and train your mind so that you can ideate. Ideas generate करने की value बहुत ज़्यादा है. हर industry में बहुत ज़्यादा है. एक ढर्रे पे काम करना is one thing, समझे? और धर्रे पे काम करने वाली चीजें सारी आउटसोर्स हो जाएंगी टू मशीन्स। नई चीजें जो आइडिएट करना है वो उतना आसान नहीं है मशीन के पास जाना।
Of
समझे?
course, of course.
मशीन
So
लर्निंग एक चीज समझाता हूँ मशीन लर्निंग
yeah,
कैसे होती है। There's something called, so you know I can tell you this because I did you know engineering, so हमने भी ये सब कर रखा था।
yeah.
मशीन लर्निंग का काम होता है there's something called supervised learning and unsupervised learning।
Hmm.
सुपरवाइज लर्निंग क्या होती है? पहले के डेटा या पहले के कोई पैटर्न्स, you know, you train the machine on you know showing those patterns and data, etc., so it learns, so neural networks will learn. Then unsupervised learning hoti hai when you have already that in production and you know new data comes, so it keeps calibrating itself, and the machine learns and it continues to learn and keeps getting better and better accuracy wise, right? That's how machine is learning. Now suddenly you say everything is creative, तो machine किधर से learn करेगी? You
Right,
understand?
right.
Machine needs patterns, and creativity needs no patterns, right? So
Absolutely.
try and be creative as much as possible in your approach and everything.
Absolutely. So, I think these are very, very good, valid points, and we'll just take one last question. Before that, I'll just sum up what all we discussed today. So, we discussed your past and how did your experience of coming out of a crisis and your wisdom words regarding that. We talked about soft skills and the importance of soft skills and interpersonal skills and the top skills that students should have. We also talked about MBAs versus undergrad, where the connection was unfortunately disconnected. Apart from that, we talked about what is going to be the new set of skills and how to basically what is going to be the future of work be like. And the last sort of a theme that we need to focus on is that something which Pushpender has asked, that what are we going to face in the coming months in the present scenario? What is the major effect of COVID-19 on our business, and what preparation we should do to basically make sure that we are in a better position and for the future. So these are the top three themes regarding the future that we need to talk about.
So look, you know, it's not very easy to say what you're going to see. Businesses are going to be very badly affected. But I don't want to sound, you know, that I know everything. I don't. But you know, what I'm receiving from news, etc., and from a lot of chatter that I see around in various groups, businesses are affected. You can see that, right? हर चीज बंद है, तो हर business बंद है, so it affect हो गए. So things will slowly start moving. So अगर ऐसे में ऐसा होता है कि you hear some of your friends उनके offers किसी ने drop कर दिए हैं, तो उसमें कुछ surprise ही होना चाहिए. It's a possibility, right? I was just talking to my the IIM Ahmedabad के placement faculty member है. He's from my batch, the faculty coordinator whatever. So he's हमारी बात हो रही थी and उन्होंने बोला यार दीपक ऐसा हो रहा है कि कुछ offers internship offers decline कर दिए गए हैं. So ये चीजें होती हैं, a lot of people अभी उनके पास नहीं है, फिर वो कहाँ से internship कराएंगे, right? So you know these things are not out of the bag. ऐसे टाइम में ऐसा होता है. So one is it's okay अगर ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है, don't feel too bad about it, because you have to be ready for some of these situations in life. That's one. दूसरा future में how do you prepare? I think some of the things we have already talked about. It's the preparation has to revolve around you. Totally see yourself as the center of the world, honestly. ये जो don't see sun as the center of the world. See yourself. Imagine that everything revolves around you.
Yeah.
Then you start looking at yourself as somebody important, and you say, okay, fine. If I'm so important, I got to do something good with myself, right? So you start looking at all your skills, whatever skills you have. Be very honest with yourself and evaluate yourself honestly. And then you start stacking up things कि बस ये चीज़ मेरे लिए सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, ये उसके बाद ज़रूरी है, ये इसके बाद ज़रूरी है. And this is the time when I'm बहुत ज़्यादा मेरे पास pressure नहीं है. I'm going to focus on these things. It will prepare you better for your future.
Absolutely.
And if you can spend some time in figuring out कि भाई मुझे किस direction में करना चाहिए. देखो एक चीज़ बहुत interest है. मेरे एक दोस्त हैं. He is the chief executive officer of Access Mutual Fund. And he's quit. He's enjoying his life in Delhi. Chilled out आदमी एकदम. तो वो एक बात कहता था यार हम सबको we should strive to do one thing. We should find the direction.
Hmm.
अगर direction आ जाए ना, you should not worry about distance. Distance comes. So you should say, worry about the direction. Distance will come.
Right.
And if you see, very, it's a very deep statement. Worry about the direction,
Hmm.
distance will come.
Hmm.
All of us should just worry about these things. Worry about the, because we are
Hmm.
essentially hardworking people. Distance हम
Hmm.
create कर लेंगे, but direction is very important.
Hmm.
समझे? किसी भी चीज में you think about the direction, and your future will be very, very secure.
That's a very good and a very deep advice. I think this will be the thumbnail of this conference, of this video call. But anyway, we have one last question with from Dr. Poonam Gupta. She is a professor in Dayal Singh College, I believe, and she has asked that please suggest 3 ways in which recruitment is going to change post COVID. I think she's asking from both a recruiter point of view and a college point of view. So if you can just address from a placement, point of view. Yeah.
Well, look, I don't think recruitment will change forever. But yeah, for these times, I think recruitment, again, as I said, it's okay to expect that the number of offers people get across colleges from various corporates, those may see some reduction. I'm not saying I know this, but it may happen. And please don't be surprised if if this is the case. This is how the times are, right? So that is something you should be ready for. The second is ways of recruitment. Well, many people. आजकल सबको पता चल गया सारे corporates में कि यार I think people are okay to use technology to do work.
Yeah.
Work is happening, and technology is being used heavily to do things. A lot of people are realizing now कि यार now we realize वो इतनी सारी meetings होती थी, बहुत सारी meetings, those are not necessary.
Absolutely.
Things can happen on the phone, right? So I think a lot of recruiters might just say that we will interview people on the phone and we may not even come down, right? So I think the modus operandi might shift a little, but in the longer run, I think, see, if it is given to me, I will always want to hire people by in person. That's my preference. I always prefer doing that. Otherwise, at times I do not go to colleges. If it's too difficult, or time is if the timelines are tight, and I generally like going in person. So I don't think it will change forever. But during these tough times, immediately after the tough times, some of these changes might you might just see some of these changes happen. The number of offers, and probably, I don't know, the offers that people come with. So number of offers, the offer themselves,
And the ways of
then
recruitment. Yeah.
yeah, and the ways of recruitment. You should definitely see greater use of technology. Hopefully, in the next cycle.
So I think Dr. Gupta, I think that I think would have answered your specific question. Apart from it, I think we have taken a lot of time from Deepak sir. So apart from it, if you guys have anything, of course, I'll after some time, if he has some time, maybe we can call him again. But today's feed has already crossed 1.5 hours, and we did not start on time though. But it's a lot of time to ask for from someone. So I think on this note, it's okay to end this webinar or live stream or whatever we may call it. We have learned a lot as entrepreneurs too, and we will keep these things in mind. Any last word, Deepak sir, that you want to tell the young kids and the college audience that is watching you? What is that one last thing you would like to tell them? Yeah.
So one last thing is that remain very lively. I was just looking at the chat, and don't take things too seriously. But at the same time, ये सबसे important चीज़ है. This is something that I figured about myself. It's very important to put yourself at the center of things that you are doing. Please don't get influenced too much by what is happening outside. I am also active on Instagram. I'm fairly active, but that is in a certain direction. Okay. Try and spend time on your evolution than just looking at others. So if you see, a lot of social media activity is consuming. People keep consuming what others are doing. Stop doing that. Start feeding. So please don't be a consumer, be a producer in one way. That's one. Think of yourself as a brand. Very, very important.
Yes.
uh, think of yourself as as a corporation, and who is then responsible for your personal brand. The personal brand thing is very, very important, and it's a big subject. We can take it up later sometime,
Yes. Yes.
but think about that. And you really focus on building skills. These are the things that will set you in good stead, in a great stead, in the times to come. So these are the things that I would, these are my parting thoughts. ओके. और
That's
मैंने चैट देखी, मस्ती कर रहे हैं लोग, मस्ती करने दो, और मस्ती इज इम्पोर्टेंट इन
no, no. I
लाइफ
think
एंड
chat
मोर.
pe now people are also talking a lot about the points that we are discussing. There were a
Good,
few
good, good.
people, so it's a good thing, and it's time to have fun. I mean, we should have fun.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
all
yeah.
should. If I was a college student, I would have had fun on the chat. But
Absolutely,
suddenly I
absolutely.
feel old. Anyway, so on this note, I think we should. Any of you has any suggestions on, these are the topics that we should discuss with Deepak sir in the future? We'll be having a lot more of these webinars. Please post it. Any suggestions you have for it, please post it. We are trying our best to get you the perspective of a industry person, and therefore this series is called Industry Unplugged, and we'll always be doing something or the else to make sure that you get some perspective, and that's the aim of Perspectico. So on this note, I think we end this chat. Thanks a lot, Deepak sir, again for joining us, and
Thank you, and thanks
yeah,
to every listener. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
yeah.
Thanks for your time.
Bye, bye,
Bye. Take care. Cheers.
bye. हेलो. हाँ. स्टॉप हुई नहीं अभी. मेरे हिसाब से तो हो गई है.